Hello and welcome back to my channel and a new vlog. I'm Unako and today's vlog is going to be about spirituality conversations. Episode 2, my experience, awakening and advice in personal power, individuality and fears and my adjustment to those three things. And yeah, let's get straight to it. So we're gonna start off with individuality, my experience in individuality, like struggling to find my individuality. I grew up trying to find myself in other people, and whenever I struggled to fit in with other people or feel like I haven't accomplished what my peers have accomplished, I always felt like I have failed in life. And when I wasn't feeling comfortable or accepted in specific spaces, I would always feel like I have to change who I am and be like the rest of the people or the energy involved in that setting. And that made me lose myself even more. This happened more so in my teenage years where I always felt like I should act like other people. I knew I was different. I knew deep down I was different from others in an energetic way, but I never really knew what that feeling was actually, what it meant, because at that around that time I didn't really know much about spiritual awakenings and auras and uniqueness, but I just knew that I felt like almost like I was too outstanding in the environment that I was in. Like it was clashing with a lot of the things and people involved. I just, whenever I would find myself, let's say, in a group setting, I always just, eventually my energy just would just burst. And then there will be conflict and yeah. So in my awakening, which happened last year, yes, I had my spiritual awakening in 2020, but I started realizing my individuality, like the importance and the existence of it last year in January. And this was after a relationship that I was in, that I was so invested in to the point where I forgot about myself, my identity, my needs, and my wants. And when I experienced that awakening last year, it, like, God made me see things from a clearer perspective, and it made me also reflect on my past, especially my childhood, where now when I see things clearer, I'm like, oh, that's why I struggled to fit in so much, because I never knew that uniqueness held so much power. And in experiencing my awakening in individuality, I also realized that it's okay to have a small group of people being your friends. Like, it's always like quantity over, like, quality, yes, quality over quantity. And so long as I've got the right people by my side, even if it's just ends up just being me, that's all that matters. Like, that positive and more, I would say, like, if you have people by your side that you feel like you can grow comfortably around with without feeling like you have outshined them or outgrown them in a way that to a point where you have to feel like, okay, you guys have to go. But I have people in my life now that I appreciate and who I know appreciate me too, and that I feel comfortable talking about my spiritual practices and my spiritual experiences without feeling like, oh, I have to shelter myself and hide in the shadow. And my awakening in um, individuality, I also got to work on my shadow self and let that part of me come out that was hiding, because I've spent almost most of my life just being someone that I'm not. And now I'm more someone that I'm meant to be and have always been, but have hidden from the world for such a long time. And now it's out there and now it knows what to do. At first it was like confusing and I've had to adjust, and I'm still adjusting to this new, I won't say new version, but to the actual me. I'm adjusting to the actual me, without any shame, because my spirit guides have also taught me to just be unapologetically myself and like be shameless about it. And yeah, my advice in your individuality, recognizing and accepting your individuality, separate yourself from your work or your relationships or whatever creative thing that you are doing. Like, have a source to get back to outside of those things. Like, let's say you go to work every day, but when you go back home, like, be able to separate yourself from the person that you were throughout the day. Like, there's the work you, and then there's the home you, which is you, your safe space. Like, go back to source or God, wherever you feel like is your safe space. Create that thing in your mind and allow yourself to like blend in with it and live in it. Like give yourself the chance to just be by yourself, know who you are outside of the things, because in doing that it will leave room open for personal growth. And also having a relationship with yourself where the things that you do not make you, they just an addition to who you are and what you are capable of. So that also, should those things temporary, let's say temporary, leave your life, you won't feel lost or feel like you are useless and you shouldn't be living anymore and you're not worthy. And in accepting your individuality, you'll be able to sit back and be like, oh, okay, this has left, but I still have myself. I have source, and source will keep me safe and grounded in knowing there's just been a delay, or this has just been put aside for me to analyze things and see things from a clear perspective. Yeah, leave mostly room open for growth to other things and explore other things, and to not let the world be the main source of your well-being. And yeah, hopefully that makes sense with that. And my experiences in personal power. So I grew up, it was mostly in my high school years, where I had a moment where I felt like, okay, I don't feel like I'm growing as a person here, and I don't feel as comfortable anymore. And I wanted to change schools, like just try out a different school. But I never really had the courage to approach my parents about it. I was just always scared of like being told, oh no, you can't do it. Like, we are the ones who get to decide if you go to a new school or not. But I did approach my dad once about it, and he was like, and then he just brushed over it. I never really felt brave to speak up for myself because I always felt like I would be misunderstood, or people wouldn't even care to understand what I'm saying, even if they know that I'm trying to make sense of what's happening. And me feeling like I didn't have any power to change my circumstances got to a point where even in my early adult years, I had a hard time leaving toxic relationships and friendships and other things, habits, because I always felt like I didn't really have any power to change what was going on. It could only change by itself. But in my spiritual awakening, that happened more so in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, my actual spiritual awakening from 2020, where I realized that I have the power to change my circumstances. I have the power to speak up for myself when something doesn't add on to my growth. Okay, someone is cutting grass right now, so just ignore that. So yeah, I had the power to change my circumstances. I have the magic wand now, and no one can tell me what to do and what not to do, especially if I'm not even hurting anyone throughout that process. And my awakening to personal power also made me realize the amount of freedom it brings in knowing that you are capable of changing your circumstances. Your soul is willing to live a life not dependent on what someone says or things of you. And my advice in personal power, I would say challenge yourself with self affirmations for at least 3 days if you feel like you're someone who gets bored easily or who gives up easily. Where every day, when you, in those 3 days at least, where you start each day or end each day with a self affirmation of I am healthy, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am capable, I have the power to change my circumstances. With such affirmations, it will help in elevate, making sure that your soul vibrates higher in frequency the more you do it. It'll also reset your mindset and like your subconscious into seeing things not only from one perspective but also a lighter perspective. And in doing those self affirmations, you will have something that will remind you of who you are in moments where you may forget, and it will also be a light at the end of the tunnel when you're in a dark space. You will have something that you can like hold on to and go back to and be grounded in. My experience in fear, I would say I grew up being very cautious and too fearful to the point where like I would fearmonger myself from doing something new because of the disappointments that I experienced, especially in my teenage years. In my early adulthood years, I had a hard time doing something new and seeing where it goes. And it got to a point where I also didn't give myself the time and the privilege. I didn't see the privilege of like being a beginner in something new. I always wanted to get something done now. And if I didn't get it right the first time, I would just be like, maybe it's not meant for me. And I'm too scared to see where this can go because what if I get disappointed again or it doesn't go out the way it's supposed to go? I had a very like, what if it goes wrong? I never really had the mindset where I allowed myself to see things from a different perspective and be realistic with myself. Like, it's your first time doing this. It's very, like, you're not supposed to get it right the first time around. Even if you do, there will be other things you struggle with also, but that's okay too. And in my awakening, I've also told myself, I got to remind myself that when I have a bad day or a bad moment, it doesn't mean that, oh, it's a bad life. And maybe this is how things are supposed to go for me. I always just tell myself that it's just a delay, or it's not my time yet, or this is not for me. And I have also given myself the opportunity to allow myself to be a beginner and be courageous. Like, do something and just be like, okay, let's see where this goes. And I'm also less dependent on waiting on God to be like, okay, do it. Like, what are you waiting for? Now just do things because I have the bravery to just do it and go with the flow. And I would say my advice in fear, don't fearmonger or allow anyone to fearmonger your plans, and try to see things from a different perspective. Like, if I try this out or do this or speak up for myself or whatever situation that you feel like you're struggling with the most because of fear, remind yourself that if I let this happen, if I let fear make the decision for me, then I won't go very far. But if I allow myself to be less fearful, be more open to something new, and that's different from what I'm used to, then let's see where it can go. And if it doesn't go the way I thought it would go, then I should allow myself to let things unfold in the way they're supposed to unfold, and where I'll get to find out it was delayed for a reason because it wasn't my time yet, or it just isn't for me, and that's okay too. And when you're less fearful, especially when you learn to not fearmonger yourself, you'll allow less people to fearmonger you. And because you control your fear, no one else can control it for you. Like, maybe it won't go well. And then you're like, oh, maybe it will. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. And it will also leave room open for you to navigate throughout spaces with ease and less fear of not fitting in or fitting in or standing out in those specific environments, and you'll feel less intimidated by who's around you because you know who you are and you can control the energies that can come up in that moment, and you don't have to dwell in them. You can just feel them through and accept them for what they are and hold on to that spark that reminds you that stay grounded in being in having courage in whatever that you do, even if other people are involved in the space that you are interested in. Adjusting to these three things: individuality, personal power, and fear, I would say remind yourself, I think I've already said this, remind yourself that if negativity ruled so much of your life growing up, imagine what positivity can do from now on. Imagine where a positive mindset can take you, and allow yourself to be a beginner. Settle in to to the real you, not the new you, because it's always been there. You were just hiding it, and you were less exposed to that part of you. So be realistic with yourself and the people around you also, and don't feel like and if that ego moment comes up where you're like, oh, I'm better than them because I know myself, just tell yourself like, you seeing someone who's in a situation that you were once in, and that will also teach you to be emotionally intelligent, where you're like, okay, they are going through something that I've been through. Right now, I'll give them the grace. I would also say adjusting to those three things, take it like step by step. I always say a small step is still a step, because even if you give self affirmations for just a couple of seconds, 30 seconds, it's something, it's a movement, and it will progress. And just be patient with yourself and compare yourself less, because when you focus on your own path and what you do to align with what's for you, you'll feel less rushed and you'll feel more comfortable in the path that you're on, because that's all you're seeing in front of you, just you and what's designed specifically for you and your aura. Okay, and this is the end of the vlog, and I hope you'll enjoy it and have enjoyed it. If you have anything to add on, you can comment down below. And yeah, thank you for watching.